let's get into talking about meal planning and my simple 3 protein meal planning process that's going to save you time and money on your next grocery trip. Hey, I'm Jen. I am the Savvy Saver Mom, and I love all things meal planning, budgeting, grocery shopping, and feeding our family of 6 on a budget. So we're going to dive right into my meal planning method. I'm going to walk you through this simple process that's going to take guesswork out of meal planning, show you how I create my weekly meal plan for our family of 6, and walk you through the process. When I sit down weekly to make out my meal plan, the very first thing that I do before I actually sit down is to walk through my kitchen and look through my refrigerator and my freezer and my pantry to see what items that we have left in those areas that need to be used up. Specifically, produce, any fruit, vegetables, dairy things that need to be used before they spoil and go bad, so we can reduce food waste and make sure we're using all of the things that we've already paid for and bought. So that's the first thing that I do. Second part of that is looking through my pantry, freezer to see things that I like to keep on hand, and if I need to add those to my list to make sure that I still have that. So flours, sugar, all the baking things like rice and oatmeal, those things also go on this list, and I check to see. And doing this helps me just to rotate through these things, so I'm not typically buying them all at once, but we're rotating through them, which is saving me money weekly by not having to buy them all at once all the time. Before we even sit down to make out our weekly meal plan, we're looking through our kitchen to see what we have, what needs to be used up, and things we're running out of to add back onto the list. The second thing we do before we start writing out a meal plan is to look at the calendar. I feel like this is where a lot of people fail at meal planning, is they don't take into account the busy schedule that's ahead of them for the week ahead. And so by stopping before you make out the meal plan and looking at your calendar to see what you have going on and planning your meals around that will help you stay consistent in meal planning if you already know ahead of time, this night's going to be busy, I need a dump and go meal to throw in the crock pot, and you're planning for that ahead of time. So we're going to make note of those nights that you have practices that 3 kids need to go in 300 different ways, and this night, you know, your husband may be gone for whatever meeting that's going to run late, and another night the kids have a school dance, and so you're going to take pictures, and we're not all eating together because we gotta go take pictures and half the family's still at home and they're gonna eat early. So that's what happened for me this week. And so for that night we did chicken salad. I went and grilled the chicken early in the day. I had it ready so that we could all just eat whenever we were home to eat, and everything was taken care of because I planned ahead and knew that that night was going to be chaotic. So I made sure we had something to just quickly grab out of the fridge and they could put on the table. I could eat it later when I got home after taking some pictures, and it all worked out great. So that's the 2 main things to do before we ever start making a meal plan. But this next part is where my simplified 3-protein method is going to save you so much time and just make meal planning so simple. So we're going to pick 3 proteins. This can be any type of proteins that you love, your family loves, from chicken to shrimp and seafood, but we're only picking 3. And so for this week, I'm picking chicken, pork, and turkey, ground turkey. We just like ground turkey over ground beef. So those are my 3 proteins for the week. And then this is the key to this whole meal plan, is to sit down and we're gonna plan 2 meals with each protein. So 2 chicken meals, 2 pork meals, 2 turkey meals. And if you're doing the math, that's 6 dinners for the week already. So 6 meals, 1 night left over. You could do pizza night, leftovers, a night out, whatever your family prefers to do, and be creative and have fun with that night left over. But you will have 6 meals already taken care of with this 3 protein method. Leftover, you could do pizza night, leftovers, a night out, whatever your family prefers to do, and be creative and have fun with that night leftover. But you will have 6 meals already taken care of with this 3 protein method. Let me walk you through how I pick my 6 meals and how I also go about doing breakfast and lunch. Spoiler alert, I don't plan breakfast and lunch. My kids all cook things for themselves. They love to experiment in the kitchen. And so I don't plan breakfast and lunch, but stay tuned to see what it is that I do instead. Back to dinner, I've picked my 3 proteins, chicken, pork, turkey, and within this meal planner, I have lists for the proteins that we eat, and I have 8 to 10 meals for each one. And if you look, I have a printable meal planner right now that's available. Working on a super fun digital meal planner that I'm super excited about. Once I get the kinks worked out of it, I will have that down below too, and you'll be able to do this all at the click of a button on your phone or your laptop. But in the printable meal planner, I have a list of meals already for you that are with these proteins, and of course you can go ahead and add your family favorites to the list as well. So keeping this list, then you're already narrowing down your choices, and you're going to pick 2 from each one of those lists for the protein that you picked. And so for my chicken, I will do grilled chicken because I know I have spinach after looking through my refrigerator that we need to use up for a salad. So we'll do 1 big chef salad. And then another night of chicken, we'll do a barbecue pulled chicken sandwiches with bagged salad mix, like a coleslaw bagged salad mix, for a quick and easy dinner. And then the pork, we'll do 2 pork meals. One will be a baked pork tenderloin with roasted potatoes and the carrots that are left in my refrigerator. And then the second one, we may do a au jus Mississippi chicken except with pork, and mashed potatoes with the gravy and another vegetable. And so then that's 4 dinners, right? And then the last 2 are with ground turkey. So I will do spaghetti with garlic bread, and then we'll do tacos. Here's where I want to input. It's okay to eat the same thing every week. We love tacos, whether it's in our low carb wraps, the kids do it in their flour tortillas, some of them do it on nachos, and tacos is great because you can make it with any of the proteins, right? So if you're struggling to come up with a meal, tacos will work for any of the proteins: turkey, chicken, beef, seafood. And so it is fine to eat the same thing weekly and changing it up with the protein or the vessel you're eating it in, whether it's a lettuce wrapped taco or soft tacos. The point is, it doesn't have to be these elaborate meals to make a weekly meal plan. So it can be done with simple things like tacos. Another would be meatloaf, and you could make it with ground turkey, you could do it with ground beef, and there's so many flavor options to add to a meatloaf to change up the profile and make it different, but yet the same thing weekly as well. So that's how my meal planning works for dinners. I sit down, I write out those 6 meals, I will add in that 7th one. We are learning about leftovers these days. We haven't had them before. With 2 of our kids now working, we seem to have a little more leftovers than we've had before. So that's new for me to figure out how to turn them into something else, which has been fun. So that's what I've been doing. We've also done a pizza night. We have done going out to eat every once in a while, or I've done a meatless meal for that 7th night as well. So that's planning out the week for dinners. And I said I would get to our breakfast and lunch and that I don't plan them. Instead, I also have a list for breakfast items and lunch items because my kids do make everything themselves, I don't cook them breakfast or lunch anymore at this point. They take care of it. I fix mine. And so I like to just have certain items on hand that I know we all use for breakfast and lunch. So for breakfast, we will keep cereal, frozen waffles, oatmeal, yogurt, granola, and then lunch would be things for them to take a lunch for school the couple days that they do that, and then some other items, their flour tortillas, so lunch meat and cheese. They will use some of the leftover meat to have nachos for lunch, and so making sure I have plenty of shredded cheese in the refrigerator, some salsa, sour cream, and then snack foods is the same thing. So there's just a list, and I kind of rotate around what things I'm buying, but it's typically the same things. And it just, in this season and being busy, that just keeps it simple, easy to do, easy to maintain, and be consistent. And that's really what we're going for with the meal planning, is to be able to maintain making that meal plan every week and being consistent. So I hope that you found this method helpful. I would love to hear down below some of the questions you have about meal planning, some of the struggles that you face with meal planning. And if you haven't already, I'd love for you to hit the subscribe button and join the YouTube family so that you won't miss out on any future meal planning tips.